So hey everyone, welcome or welcome back to my channel. And it's true, we are not meeting after such a long time. But that the next thing which is true is that I have a lot of recommendations for you all because I have been reading a lot of books past 3 months, and I just don't read that much book to share with you all in like a monthly wrap up. So I just do the this thing like a 3 month monthly wrap up kind of thing to just give you my ratings, my final ratings, and my final reviews on the books which I have read. So without any delay, let's start. I am not going to bore you with the books which I have read in like these are the books which I have read in May, June, and July. So I'm going to go from the July to May basically because I just want to share the newer reads pehle and then the previous ones baad. So without any delay, let's just start the video. The first book which I have read in July was Summer Romance, which I didn't have the physical copy because I have read it on the Kindle. I don't have the Kindle also. I have read it on the Kindle app basically. And the book Summer Romance by Annabelle Monaghan, and it was an amazing read. It was so like beautiful, and what I can say, it's basically women's fiction, contemporary romance, and it's basically follows two characters, Ethan and Ali. Ali's a mother of three children and now getting divorced from her husband. Her husband was not so emotionally available for her for the time when her mother died, and she just not over it because her husband was not around her when she just need him. So they are just getting divorced, and now Ethan just for the summer just came to his hometown, and now they are just both come into each other, like entangled with each other because of something you will read in the book. It's a very beautiful and somewhat in a way it's very like natural. You just feel that characters which are having romance, like Ali and Ethan, they both are very natural. Like it's not seems like very oppressing or it's like बहुत exaggerate हो रहा है या बहुत ही unrealistic लग रहा है. It's not like that. It's very realistic. It's very natural, and the characters were very amazing. And I have enjoyed the read a lot. I just didn't miss the physical copy. I just loved it reading on my phone while I was just traveling or doing something, anything, because that book was amazing. I have highlighted and annotated so many parts. Can't tell you that. So if you just want a summer romance or any romance and you just want a palate cleanser to just, which is a bit of emotional also, and it's just not a cringy type of romance, you just have to try that book. I just give it a 4.25 star rating. It's not bad, I think. The next book I have read in July was also a romance, which I have the physical copy. That is The Ex Woes by Jessica Joyce, which is from my TBR, monthly TBR, which I've chosen with you all. And I have read this book because of the TBR only, because I want to read a more romance novel, so I just picked it up. But क्योंकि मैं TBR पे थी तो थोड़ा और एक reason मिल गया था. But that this book is like amazing. That tension. So I'm going to tell it's also a romance. It's adult romance, and it has a lot of spice also in this book, which I will talk later about. But the book is basically story of Georgia and Eli, who are not together anymore. They are just broken. Just had their very bad breakup 5 years ago, and now their mutual best friend Adam is now getting married, and they are just all their friends and family are just get to be together at that moment at the wedding ceremony, and now they have to face each other and have to face those situations. I know it just sounds like something like Happy Place because maybe Friends Day and that wedding and all of that, but it's very different in a lot of ways. Very similar also to Happy Place, but in a lot of ways it's very different from it. The tension between Georgia and Eli is like amazing. I just laughed at so many times because those awkward situations which they have been facing with each other, you can also while reading you can see that exactly situation. So it's very like funny, and like reading it just make like a realistic and fun experience. So nonetheless, उसके अलावा तो मुझे बस इसका स्पाइस, like I hate spice in books, and it was a spicy book, so I just direct 1 star from it. I just gave it like 4 star. I just don't want to because, but the spice was so much in this book, like a full chapter of a spice. I just don't like that. That what happened in the Happy Place also, but the thing was that the Happy Place is more like on an emotional side with all of those characters, which in this book it's basically more follows on the story of Georgia and Eli, with the side characters also having some part of there in this book, but they are not that much involved like they are in the Happy Place. If you have read that book, you might understand my uh, thought which I'm saying. So that's it. 4 star, which is not a bad thing. I just don't like spice. If you like it, you will going to love it because the tension and that build up of everything, the tension between those two characters because they have broken up, and how they will come in the end it will together to, like they will come together in the end. So you will see. जो सभी romances में हो जाता है. The next book which I have read in July, the third book is The Women by Kristen Hanna. I have also talked about this book in the tag video which I have uploaded previously, and this is one of the best book I have ever read in my entire life and in my entire 2026. I just gave this book the best book of the year so far tag, but I think this will going to be like the best book till the year ends, because this follows the story of Frankie, who is a nurse, and it's basically set up around the time of the Vietnamese War, and Frankie is a nurse, and her brother just goes to the war to just for the combat and all of that. He is a soldier, but she just want to follow him and just make her parents proud, and she just also went there as a nurse. This is all I'm going to tell you about, because there is so much more to this book. It is like an ocean of so many emotions, like love, grief, anger, vulnerability, and like war emotions, the all of that tragic consequences of the war. You're just going to see it, and it's very graphic at some situations, not that much that you just have to intimidated by the book, but it's definitely graphic to make you understand how the war affect a person, and how the war just affect all the surroundings and all the people who are just involved in it. Because Frankie as a character at the starting, she's like, war is necessary to at some extent, but till the end her thoughts are changed, and I think yours also will. So just go and read this book. The Women by Kristen Hanna is one of the amazing books I have read so far. Now let's move on to the June. So I have been to my internship in the month of June, so I have read also three books there. The first book which I have read on my train journey when I was going there was The Just Friends by Haley Pham, which I think I have not told you the stars. It's basically a 6 star. I don't know. क्या समझे या नहीं. The next book which I am going to talk you about is Just Friends by Haley Pham. This book, I think everyone on the internet just hating this book or just not judging Haley very hard. But as a follower of her since a long time, I have been watching her. I just firstly read the acknowledgement part of it and I loved it. मतलब आप किसी को भी देखो, it's very personal. You are the person you are seeing, and now she's writing a book. It feels like very personal thing to read and to just experience those experiences which she is having while writing the book. So it's very amazing. The book follows the story. It's again a romance. It's non-spicy for God's sake, and it follows the story of Declan and Blair. And Declan is in his hometown. Blair is just came back to her hometown, which is of course the same. They are best friends to lover too, but now they are not together again. That's happened, and why they are not together and why they will just got entangled with each other again, you will see in the book. And Blair just came back to her hometown. Why? Because her aunt Lottie is very badly ill. So she just want to spend some last moments with her. So she just came back. और इसके आगे का तो रोमांस में आप आधा तो प्रिडिक्ट कर चुके होंगे, लेकिन फिर भी just go and read this book. I just gave it 4.25 because it's not spicy, and I might give it a 4.5 also, but it was a bit longer for me as a romance novel. It was not a bit longer, but I will tell, I think it is for around, it's only around 300 something pages, but then also at some part it feels like boring and stretching, like you just know what is going to be happen, and now it's just getting exaggerated. But the writing style is definitely beautiful. I love how Haley describes the thing and just make the all the atmosphere just feel like real and atmospheric. So I just love this book. A 4.25. I don't know if you just not get what I'm saying. So the next book which I have read in June was Not Quite Dead Yet by Holly Jackson. I'm going to say it was a bit of a letdown, because the first reason, don't come back to me. The first reason is that I have guessed the plot twist, which is not a good thing. मतलब बहुत पहले तो नहीं, but I think 10 to 20 pages पहले मैंने इसका plot twist guess कर लिया था. Some of the mid plot twist I just didn't guess, and I was like jaw-dropping moment of mine while reading it in my like that PG room. I was like, oh my god, that were amazing. It was dark. It basically follows the character of Jet, who just got murdered on the Halloween night, but she just didn't die at that moment, and now she just want to investigate the case of her murder and just find out the killer who just killed her, because she's going to die in 7 days because of the injury in her head. So all of that happens. You just have to read the book for the rest of it. I loved this book. It was very emotional at the end. I have shed some tears of emotionality at the end also, because if you know, you know, but then also because of the predictability of the plot twist at the end. And I'm not that much connected to Jet as a character that I with the other characters of Holly Jackson, like Pip and Red from Five Survive. So giving it a 4.25 or 4 star. I don't know. 4.25, it's might be fine. The next book I have, which the last book which I have read in June, which I just when I was coming back to home and I read on completed it on the journey coming back, was Aristotle and Dante discovering the secrets of no, discover the secrets of the universe. It is by a fiction, contemporary fiction kind of thing, and it follows two boys. Of course, you know Aristotle and Dante. They are young, they are very vulnerable. Dante is very expressive and very emotional, whereas Aristotle is like not so emotional and not so expressive, and you just follow all the story from the point of view of Aristotle, that is Ari. in the book, and you just see these characters grow with like a few year lifespan, and you see how their character grows. It's basically a contemporary fiction which you can read and feel the characters, a character driven story. So you just see those characters grow in their every terms, like what they are not expecting accepting, basically their individuality and their sexuality and all of those problems which they have been fighting together and in their inner self also, and all of that. This book is like amazing. It has short chapters, like it maximum चैप्टर इसका 3-4 पेज से ज़्यादा कोई बड़ा था ही नहीं. Like it has so short chapters. If you are in a reading slum, I just prefer just go and pick up this book because it's so bingeable. I just read this book in like 3 to 4 days because I am on my internship. Please, I am telling you that. But then also I just completed it like in a 3 to 4 days because it's like so bingeable. If you are reading it, you can read it in a reading slum. Like I given it a 4.5, and I'm going to read the next book in the series, which is, I don't know the name. I don't remember it basically, but I'm going to definitely read it. Now the 3 books which I have read in May, I have like read them in the these are not all the books I have read in May, because the previous half of them I have shared in my previous monthly wrap up. The left of those I have shared in the reading vlog, which I have done like a 24-hour readathon with you all. So these 3, so I'm going to give you a very short and final review of these, not going to exaggerate the video. So the first book which I have read in the video was The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, which is basically story of Evelyn Hugo, who is now going to share her life story. So she just contacted this just journalist Monique, and she is now going to write her biography, which is going to be posted or published after her death. And it's basically story of her life, which involves the 7 husband. That is why it's called 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I rated this book a 4.75, not a 5, because I just don't have till now also something which I can hold from the character of Evelyn Hugo, or I think might give it a 5 star at the end of the year. But now I'm settling down on 4.75. I just don't get that 5 star feeling, but it was fulfilling, it was amazing, and in every sense, Evelyn Hugo is one of the bravest and the most smartest character of my books. I will say that definitely. The next book which I have read is The Silent Patient by Alex Mercalidis. It basically follows the story of Alicia, who just murdered her husband with like 5 gunshot. I just forgot. I think I don't know. I think 5 गोली मार के उसने अपने पति को ठिकाने लगा दिया. So she just shot her husband like that, and now second character in the book, that is Theo, the psychotherapist, and then she just got silent. That is why it's called The Silent Patient. She just doesn't reveal the reason why she kills him or whether she kills him or not. Nothing. She just got silent, and then we just see the perspective of Theo, who is just now investigating the case, and now he just want to make Alicia speak. I am like, while speaking to this whole about this book, I'm thinking about all of the things this book has done, and the plot twist was amazing. I think if you're not in very good thrillers and if you're a beginner, you just have to read this. It's already very popular, so I'm just going to recommend it one more time to you. Just go and read this. It is worth the hype. Just go. I rated it a 5 star. Then the last book in the pile which I have read is again a 6 star. It's a Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter. Now have the second part also, that is nothing like the movies, which I haven't read till now. This basically follows Liz and Wes, two neighbors who are not so good friends with each other. It's basically a YA, so they are not so good friends with each other. But suddenly Liz just want a help from Wes, and she just want him to help her because she's in a very bad situation. So they just got help each other with a kind of a deal, kind of something. And then you see how their character moves and how they got into each other without being friends to each other. So you will see that the thing which, because I just love this book because of the romance, definitely the slow burn, the romance, and all of that funny giggling parts which I have done. The reaction is not on the video because I just don't want to shame myself on the screen, but it was amazing. And the reason, because it is for 6 star, because of the emotional part of it, I just connected to the characters, even though the side characters which are in the book are so easily connectable, and they have a significant part in the book which I just loved so much. So you're just going to enjoy this book. This book is also very popular, so I think you might have read this book already, but if you're not, just take this as a sign and just go and read this. So these are all of the 9 books which I have read in the May, June, and July. Now I'm currently reading The Names by Florence and Up, I think, which I'm not going to cover. It's already 31st today, so I'm not going to cover it in the video because I haven't completed it yet. So that's it. That's 9 books in 3 months, which I think is not bad. I have read around 47 books till now, so I think I'm going enough. No, 47 total books पढ़ी मैंने. I have read like 19 books till now, so which is a good thing. I'm in a good track on my yearly goal. So with that being said, I think you have got some recommendations, so just go and read this book. These books are amazing. I think even the 4-star ones are so amazing, they might be your 6-star or a 5-star read. So just go and pick them up. Either it's a romance, it's a historical fiction, just don't get intimidated by them, just go and read, because reading is the best thing you can have in your life.